My name is Chris Otani. I'm the engineering manager at Gale Engineering in Azusa, California. So I'm engineering manager, so I'm in charge of kind of overseeing all of the engineering departments. At our company here, we do automotive engineering, so we make high performance upgrade car parts for mostly trucks and some cars. And we have three groups: mechanical engineering CAD group, electronics engineering group, and a test and calibrations group. So I kind of organize and orchestrate the different activities between those three groups for the company. For this career, most people here have an engineering degree. So there's mechanical and electrical mostly, and some computer science engineers working here. And specifically for the management role, you don't necessarily need to have a master's degree, but I'm currently pursuing a engineering management master's just to have a little bit more skill set for the position. When you're in college, I'd highly recommend trying to pursue some of the extracurricular activities, especially for our industry is in automotive. So a lot of the candidates that work in this industry have done Formula SAE or Baja SAE, which are clubs where you basically get to build a race car while you're in college. So having that kind of skill set really sets you apart in getting a job in the industry after college, as well as doing internships while you're in school is going to make you stand apart. I did a couple internships when I was in school, and I also joined the Formula SAE team at Cal Poly Pomona for my last 2 years. So I worked on a project where we built carbon fiber suspension components for the car, as well as worked on a project where we did a lot of data acquisition to kind of get new test data so we can better design the car. So that's a great experience. I highly recommend it if you're getting into the engineering field when you're in college. I'd say it's never the same, which is kind of nice, especially at this company. We were always doing different products, different developments. And since I have kind of a hand in both the design and the electronics side of things, I'm always kind of trying to bounce back and forth. So it's never the same thing twice, and it's always a new challenge and something different to overcome every day. So I'd say the electronics division that we have here, especially in automotive, it's kind of uncommon to be able to have a company that both does mechanical design and electronics design, which is something that I have a big passion for. So I'm heavily involved with that aspect of it. And being able to be a part of creating something and seeing it go from the stages of like kind of just initial concept to full product that's on sale in the marketplace and having customers kind of give you feedback on that product is pretty rewarding experience. I'd say there's always some projects that never quite go as you plan. So a lot of the stuff that we do, it has to pass like emissions control so that we can sell in California where there's really strict air standards. So even though you design it with looking into certain aspects, there's always might be something that quite doesn't go as planned, so you have to do a lot of extra testing and redesign to make it happen. So there's like 1 or 2 air intake systems that we've done here that kind of hit a snag, so we have to redesign and have spend extra time to make it work. So we'll design it for best performance, and basically once we start testing it on the vehicle, so we'll actually 3D print prototype parts and run it on the vehicle. So even though it makes the best performance, your vehicle has like check engine lights where it's kind of monitoring different systems of the vehicle. So if you change certain things too much, the vehicle's engine control module will actually like kind of be able to tell that something changed and throw a check engine light. So those are the types of things that we try to plan against, but sometimes there's some parameter that's slightly out of spec. So then we have to try to diagnose and figure out what that thing is, and then slightly modify the existing part and iterate it to kind of basically resolve that. I like the electronic side, so we have a little gauge called the I-1.8, which is just like a small gauge that you plug into a car's diagnostic port, and you're able to read a lot of data and monitor things, and it's a pretty neat product. And just being able to kind of come up with what features that product's going to have and how it's going to operate, and the aesthetics of the layouts and stuff was a very neat project. Oh man. So that product that I just mentioned, the I-1.8, that's probably, I want to say at least 2 years of development from initial concept to the first time we sold it on the market. And even since then, it's been further developed and improved because we were able to basically provide firmware updates in the field. So I think there's just a lot of different aspects that go into designing a product like that. And since it's the first time we did a full embedded design, so everything from the ground up was in-house, I think it took a little bit longer in that aspect. So yeah, so that one's continuing to update. We're always improving it as we get feedback from customers or different features that they want to add. But we're also, this piece of this item is part of like basically a system that's expandable. So you're able to connect different modules, like sensor modules, power modules, stuff like that to it, and extend its capability. So in order to support those systems, we need to add functionality to that original device because it's basically like the brains of the whole system. So it's going to like an ongoing development to create a system of products that all work together with each other. Oh, it's extremely important. It's over the years, with each year, the car is becoming more electrical. So the sensors are all, like the number of sensors that they have in the car, it's all electronics, is increasing exponentially. The emission system is all electrically controlled. So knowing and understanding how the electronics and software incorporate into a car is extremely important. So we have a module called the Derringer, which is an inline tuner. So it connects to a couple of your vehicle sensors, and it kind of tricks it into giving you extra boost pressure or extra fuel, which gives you more horsepower. So with that project, I got to actually come up with like the control scheme of how it's going to operate, as well as do the calibration work. So plug it onto a vehicle and hook it up to like an engine dyno, and actually calibrate the parameters and see how the horsepower changes as you change different things. So that was a really fun project. Every day. So we're always working together, even across different departments. Like the electric stuff needs mechanical components to work, different housings or harnesses to connect to the sensors. So we do weekly meetings to kind of get the whole group together and kind of discuss what we're going to tackle for the week. And then throughout the week, we're constantly interacting with each other. You know, if something comes up or there's some problem that needs to get solved, we'll get other people's inputs and you know, make sure we're all working as a team. In high school, I loved physics. So that was my favorite class, and I knew I wanted to do something in the science field. And then my physics teacher actually recommended engineering to me. So that's kind of what I knew I wanted to do going into college, but I didn't know if I wanted to do mechanical or civil, aerospace. So I think someone just said mechanical was the most broad and most like kind of applicable everywhere. So I just went with that to begin with and ended up liking it. So I got lucky. So when I was my senior year, about I think 6 months from graduating, I started looking for jobs. And then since I was in the Formula SAA team, the company or the club was actually taking a tour of the Gale Banks Engineering shop, since Banks Power or Gale Banks Engineering was a sponsor of the team. So I ended up tagging along with that tour, and then we toured the whole shop. And after we finished, I fell in love with the place. So I talked to Gale, told him that I was graduating soon, and asked him if there was any openings and if I could interview. So yeah, it's been great. I mean, if you're a car guy, it's like kind of a dream come true. Now I get to wrench on cars. I get to design new products, test them, and all sorts of stuff. So it's something that I never thought I'd be able to do in California. I thought I'd have to go to like Detroit or somewhere kind of all on that side to do automotive. So it's really a dream come true for me to do aftermarket automotive engineering. Yeah, I have like a hobby car that I modify and turbocharge and kind of even test our own products like our sensor modules and stuff like that, and do some like amateur track racing. So, and it's great because our company actually lets us use some of the facilities for like personal projects. So it's like another company perk is we get to like kind of use the tools here to develop our own hobby stuff. I've always been interested, but I didn't really get any experience until college. One of my friend's dad helped me fix up a car, and that kind of was the gateway into everything. And then once I started, like I just couldn't stop. So